Hello viewers out there, I welcome you all to the part 6 of first chapter the Union Parliament or the Union Legislature. अगर आपने वीडियोस के पहले पार्ट को नहीं देखा है तो पहले उसे देखिए और फिर इस पार्ट में आए, वरना ये पार्ट आपको बिल्कुल भी समझ नहीं आएगा. And thank you for more than 200 views in my previous video for this playlist. For part 6 of this video, we are going to discuss relationship between the two houses of the parliament or points of difference between the two houses of parliament. Relationship between the two houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the house of the people and the council of the states. Theoretically speaking, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha enjoys equal power. But we cannot overlook the fact that the Lok Sabha represents the people and is elected by the people. On the other hand, the Rajya Sabha represents the states of the Indian Union elections and its members are elected indirectly by the members of state legislative assemblies. So every member of Lok Sabha is elected by the people. In such a situation, it is Rajya Sabha members are elected by is given a clear upper hand in almost all matters concerning the parliament, also known as Vidhan Sabha. We shall discuss their relations as under. So, if the members are elected directly by the people in the Lok Sabha, it clearly indicates that Lok Sabha has an upper hand in almost all of the matters concerning the parliament. In the first part of the playlist, I have discussed the components through which parliament is made. And you have to comment down below that what does Parliament of India constitute. Now we shall discuss relationship between the two houses of parliament. First point, difference over the legislative matters. Legislative enactments belong to two categories, ordinary bills and money bills. Ordinary bills. An ordinary bill can originate in either house of the parliament and must be passed by both the houses of parliament before going for precedent assent. So, an ordinary bill can be initiated in either house of the parliament, that is either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. And after it is passed from both the houses, it goes for President's approval. But in the case of deadlock between the two houses over a bill, it is to be resolved in a joint session of the House with the Speaker of the Lok Sabha in the chair. But if there is a deadlock between the two houses over a bill, then over a joint meeting, it is discussed that whether it should be passed or not. And in the joint session, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the chair of the meeting. As the membership of the Lok Sabha is more than double the membership of Rajya Sabha, it is the will of Lok Sabha that prevails on the strength of its majority in the joint session. Now, if there is deadlock, the strength of Lok Sabha is more than the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha's strength is 250 while the Lok Sabha's strength is 543. So, of course, the majority is of the Lok Sabha and therefore, in the joint session, the Lok Sabha decision prevails. Now, in the case of money bill. In case of a money bill, the Rajya Sabha has been given virtually no powers. Firstly, a money bill can originate only in the Lok Sabha. Secondly, when any money bill is passed by the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha has no power whatsoever to make a change in it against the will of the Lok Sabha. It can at most delay a money bill by the sitting over it for 14 days. After the expiry of the period, the bill is supposed to be passed by the Rajya Sabha and can be sent for President's signature. So in case of money bill, 3 points are seen. That first point, a money bill can only be originated or initiated in the Lok Sabha. It cannot be initiated or originated in the Rajya Sabha. Second point is that if Rajya Sabha wants to make a change in the money bill, it cannot do so. It can advise the Lok Sabha to do the same, but again it is the choice of Lok Sabha that if the Lok Sabha want it to be continued or want it to be taken in interest, else Rajya Sabha can pass the bill as it is. Next thing is that Rajya Sabha cannot delay the money bill for more than 14 days. If it delays, it is automatically decided that Rajya Sabha has passed the bill and then it goes to the President for his assent or approval. Coming to point number 2, control over the executive. The Union Parliament exercises its control over the Union government in a number of ways already discussed in this chapter. The Houses of Parliament have equal rights of asking question or bringing in various kind of motion against the government. But here again the Lok Sabha has the real say. The Council of Ministers is primarily responsible to the Lok Sabha. A vote of no confidence passed in the Rajya Sabha does not oblige the government to resign, but a similar vote passed in the Lok Sabha makes it obligatory for the government to quit. This point says that Union Parliament has its control over the Union government in various of ways, as already discussed in the chapter, that is by bringing various kind of motions or various kind of questions. But again, the Lok Sabha has an upper hand in it. Why? Because if a no confidence motion is passed in the Rajya Sabha, it does not make obligatory for the government to resign. It does not make compulsory for the government to resign. But if a similar vote is passed by the Lok Sabha, it makes it compulsory for the government to quit. And this is the time when the house is dissolved. So, Council of Ministers is directly or primarily responsible to the Lok Sabha. So, again, in the case of executive, Lok Sabha has an upper hand. Impeachment. In matters of impeachment of the President of India or the Chief Justice or a judge of a Supreme Court or of a High Court, both the houses have absolutely equal powers. Impeachment can be initiated in either house and the other house is in equal say in the judgment. So what is impeachment? Impeachment is an official process through which President of India, Chief Justice or the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts can be removed. So in this matter, both the houses of parliament have equal power. We shall discuss the process of impeachment in further chapters in detail. Election of President and the Vice President. Every elected member of the Parliament stands on equal footing in the election of President or the Vice President of India. But taken collectively, the Lok Sabha has a greater say in this matter on the strength of its number. Now coming to the election of President and Vice President. So in this case, almost both the houses have the equal power. But again, the Lok Sabha strength is more, so it has an upper hand even in the election of President and Vice President. Functions in respect of subjects including in the state list. The Rajya Sabha has been given undivided powers in this regard. It is only the Rajya Sabha which can declare that a particular subject of the state list has assumed national importance and that it should be included in the union list. So, function of respective subjects included in the state list. As we all know, there are three different kind of list: union list, concurrent list and state list. Union list is a list that contains all the matters relating to central problem, and the main control over this is of the central government. Now coming to the state list, it contains all that things that is important for a state, and in this case the state government has a power to amend or change any of the state matters. And concurrent list is a list which have the matters of both important to union as well as state. So if Rajya Sabha want to declare any state list as a matter of union list, as a matter of national importance, then he can declare that subject of the state list in the union list. Emergency powers. In case of the proclamation of a national emergency due to foreign aggression or a threat thereof due to armed rebellion or a civil war or a threat therefore, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, it is the Rajya Sabha which shoulders up all the responsibility of the union legislature. So in emergency provision, so if a national emergency situation persists in the country due to the foreign aggression or rebellion, then Lok Sabha is dissolved at that point of time and Rajya Sabha is actually the house which shoulders up all the responsibilities and look after everything. A special or exclusive power of Rajya Sabha. Make a note here that in examination the question comes how the Rajya Sabha has an advantage over the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha can declare any of the subject in the state list to be a subject of national interest and thereby empower the Union Parliament to legislate on that subject. We have already discussed that point earlier. The Rajya Sabha can decide by 2/3 majority to set up a new All India service. It is a very important point and also easy to learn. The Rajya Sabha, with its 2/3 majority of the House, can set up a all New India Service. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body and is not a subject to dissolution, hence its role becomes very important during the period when the Lok Sabha remains dissolved, especially during proclamation of emergency, then it acts as a union legislature. So Rajya Sabha is a permanent body and it cannot be dissolved. So in case when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, when a no confidence motion is passed or when proclamation of emergency is declared, it is actually the Rajya Sabha which shoulders up all the responsibility. Now coming to the special or exclusive powers of the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha has certain special powers which make it more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. These are a motion of no confidence against the union government can only be introduced and passed in the Lok Sabha. If such a motion is passed by a majority, the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers resign collectively. Thus, Lok Sabha exercises direct control over the Union Executive. No such power is vested in the Rajya Sabha. We have already discussed this point in the Executive. See, if a no confidence motion is passed in the Rajya Sabha, it does not make obligatory for the government to resign. But if a similar motion is passed in the Lok Sabha, then by a majority, then the whole ministry along with the Prime Minister has to resign collectively. Therefore, Lok Sabha exercises direct control over the Union Executive, and there is no such power vested or given to the Rajya Sabha. Coming to the next point, money bills can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. After being passed in the Lok Sabha, it is sent to the Rajya Sabha, which can at most delay it for 14 days. After the expiry of the period, it is deemed to have been passed by the Rajya Sabha. This point has also been discussed earlier while discussing about the two kinds of bill, money bill and ordinary bill. So as I've told you before, money bill can only be introduced or initiated or originated in the Lok Sabha and can be passed then to the Rajya Sabha for the most for 14 days. And after the expiry of the period, it is deemed or it is decided that it has already been passed by the Rajya Sabha. Coming to the third point, in the event of a deadlock between the two houses in case of an ordinary bill, a joint sitting is held. The will of the Lok Sabha prevails in such a case on account of its superior strength. The Lok Sabha has 545 members, whereas the Rajya Sabha has only 25 members. So, if there is a deadlock in any of the ordinary bill, then it is the decision of the Lok Sabha that prevails due to its superior strength. Different list of subject for legislation. There are three different kinds of list: union list, state list and the concurrent list. The union list has 100 important subjects like defense, currency, railways, etc. on which the centre can legislate. In the concurrent list, about 47 subjects are included. On this subject, both the centre and the state can legislate, but in case of any clash, the laws passed by the centre shall prevail. On the 61 subject mentioned in the state list, normally the state and not the centre is empowered to legislate, but here too in certain circumstances the parliament can legislate on matter mentioned in the state list. Moreover, the residuary powers or subjects not mentioned in the above three lists also lie with the centre. Now, as we know that there are three different kind of list: union list, state list and concurrent list. Union list has 100 important subject and the power to legislate over it goes to central government. Concurrent list have 47 subject and both the state and centre has a power to make laws on such list. But if there is a conflict or clash, then the centre law prevail. On 61 subject mentioned in the state list, normally the state has the power to legislate over it, but there are certain circumstances where the parliament can legislate over such matter. As we have discussed earlier, that if the Rajya Sabha feels that any of the particular subject of state list has assumed national importance, then it should be included in the union list. Now, a question comes always many of the frequent times that what is residuary powers. So residuary powers are those powers which are not included in either of the three lists, that is the state list, concurrent list and the union list, and the power to legislate over this matters lies with the centre. So that's all for this video. We will meet in the next video with the topic anti-defection law, which will be the last part of this chapter. Thank you for watching this video till end. This video was helpful to you. Don't forget to hit the like button, share it as much as possible and subscribe to our channel. so that you don't miss any update from the channel.